My name's Steve Rossington, and I'm in the chemistry section of the School of Environment and Life Sciences. And in this application for the ICZ monies for 2016, I wish just to talk about the idea of re-establishing a chemistry section at this university and why it's important to apply for this pot of money. So my understanding of the ICZ language, this industry collaboration zone, is to drive Sulfur back to parts into its history. Certainly speaking to you now, as an undergraduate in chemistry at this university in 96 to 99, it was so obvious to me of why Salford was my university at that point to choose from on an undergraduate programme. This university had a reputation, and it was put over to me at college about if you wanted a hands-on degree in chemistry, it was to be Salford University. When I got here, I had no idea at all about the history, the pedigree, the reputation of this university in chemistry. I was told simply at college level that Salford was the university for developing good hands-on chemists. Indeed, my college tutor was an ex-Salford chemist back in the 1960s. I got here, and like any undergraduate, I got on with the first year, got to know people, but then it became quickly apparent that the infrastructure left in Cockcroft Building from the old tower days of Salford meant that we were well resourced as a sector in chemistry, and undergraduate students at that point, at the time in the 90s, had the best facilities to work with, teaching labs to research labs to academic contact. So John Leonard, actually someone who's very important to me in my life, as John is, as he indicates here, an ex-professor of chemistry at the University of Salford, and John was someone who taught myself, and John was someone that I looked up to. John was a very kind man, but a very intelligent man in his knowledge of chemistry. And John's someone that I've stayed in contact with for 15 years on and off. And John, actually now, if you were to look at his contacts, is a very major player in the field of organic chemistry, synthetic chemistry, medicinal chemistry. And John has an absolute wealth of contact with industry in the pharmaceutical industry and the synthetic organic chemistry field. And John is actually now semi-retired from AstraZeneca, but now he's running his consultancy of Candence. And John has agreed to give us time when we look at re-establishing the programme of chemistry back at this university, and to help myself and colleagues to go out and to face industry again, something that Salford's not done in chemistry for up to 15 years. Although I have to say myself, as indicated right at the bottom of this form, I have contacts with industry, and I've developed them from my own point of view over the last few years. But it's important that John is at the side of me here, and with colleagues, to try and get out and to face other parts of industry that we've simply just not spoken to for up to 15 to 20 years. So part of this application process is the cost of John, where John is giving time up from his own salary structure to work with us, but there's an expectation back that we can cover some of John's time and some of John's costs, and obviously the breakdown costs are indicated. But in developing this idea, what are our objectives? How do we recreate parts of Salford's past, Salford's glorious past, shall we say, with chemistry? It was the biggest chemistry department in Europe in the 1970s and 1980s. And I say Europe, it was the biggest in the UK for many a year, but in the early 80s, it actually filled chemistry journals from start to finish with Salford publications. And as far as I'm aware, there's no other university in the United Kingdom that's ever done that, filled in entire journals from start to finish. Why was Salford this well-known university? Well, it provided chemists with hands-on skills. So, in the world we face now, with TEF, with REF coming up, with Brexit, that a lot of us are worried about, we've got to be able to get students at Salford because we're different to other local Northwest universities. So we hopefully will, in our programme structure, return a quality of Salford student which is hands-on. But we also as well want to face outward again and to talk about why we in chemistry can recreate parts of the past. And it's important to make a point in this application that there are tremendous amounts of Salford chemists out there in industry. The alumni network at this university has contacts within chemistry internationally and nationally, and I have met some of these people over the last few years, and they are passionate to help Salford in developing chemistry. So there are people out there in industry that we can contact quite quickly and get to them straight away, but there are other people or other parts of industry we may need time to re-establish in with. So what have we got to offer here? Well, we want to breed a hands-on chemist for the future, a student that's aware of the fact that they need to be able to interact and to think. Most people now are acknowledging that the way forward in life is the internet and these devices that we hold in our hands, the mobile phones. We need to produce a quality of chemists that can take information, that can work into teams, that can be hands-on, that can manipulate data, as we always say what chemists should be able to do, that have got all these skills that a chemist would need in industry, but have then got the softer side of life. So we have at the moment at this university a Science and Industry module, and this Science and Industry module needs developing, and I'm the module lead for that. And in this process of asking for ICZ money, we need to go out further and talk to further parts of the chemical community and ask them whether this module is something they would like to buy into. Would they like to send their staff to us at Salford to take part in this module, so it can then be a money-making exercise, shall we say, for the university? Can we get people from industry into this module to pick up the softer side, the business skills needed to work in the chemical industry? Speaking to industry over the last few years, that's something that's very important to them. Yes, they might have a chemist who knows everything about a Diels-Alder reaction, but can they face up to the marketing people, the legal people, the HR people in that company, face outward to them and negotiate the point of practice of how chemists would work in the business world? That's very important. We want as well to maybe give our students as well the chance to be entrepreneurial in this module. And this is being developed still at this moment, November 16. I have ideas now of how to make students in this module entrepreneurial, to face outward, to take some of their ideas, even as undergraduates, and to go to industry with them, and to see whether industry is actually interested in working with our students as small groups to see whether they could help industry's needs out. So there's something in my mind. Maybe we at Salford in organic chemistry can be a synthetic portal for companies. Can companies allow us, our students at Salford, to do synthetic work for them, so we can sell this back into industry, we can make the programme area money, we can make the university money as well, we can give students an appreciation of working to timelines, deadlines, and actually working with industry and facing up to them and doing custom synthesis for them. That's something that I want to develop. But as well, it's got to be about getting industry with us. Degree level apprenticeships are crucial. The April 17 tax coming off the government means that industries need to now look at how they train their own. We at this university for 5 years have been running the chemistry club. The university now, the central part and the advancement team are now funding this chemistry club for 17. We are taking chemists at 14 years of age and teaching them in GCSE level with their own schools chemistry. We are recruiting students to this university already with that, and I've evidence for that, but it's not the point of this application. If we can take those students at 14-year age and put them through our club system for the next 4, 5, 6 years, industry needs to help us with that. Industry might be able to pay the cost for this full time. This is good for us, we can recruit students to us, but maybe those students then industry can keep an eye on and they can pick them up into their degree level apprenticeship schemes. Can we take those students back again and train them as undergraduates for the 4, 5, 6 years it may take? That is something I'm very passionate about in this application, to get the word to industry that we've been doing something for 4, 5, 6 years that they should hear. And I think this is a very strong message we can take. No other Northwest, North of England, UK university in chemistry has done what we have done in chemistry for 5 years. This is a really positive story we can put across. And it's a story that we can ask industry, do you want to develop and run with us? They're going to have to come out and work with universities and develop degree level apprenticeships. I think we have a way in here. So we want to develop these degree level apprenticeships. Then, if we face out to industry and they see what facilities and structures we've got in Cockcroft and Newton, can we develop Masters of Research, PhD, postdoctoral training exercises? Can we get funding in that way? Certainly in the last 2 years I've got funding for MSc Research of industry, of industrial contact. So can we go out and develop those as ideas? Funding for our students for PhD and MSc postdoctoral opportunities. Can we actually as well get industry to help us with infrastructure change as well? Lancaster University restarted their chemistry department 3 years ago, and they picked up industrial money, Syngenta and EU funding, possibly won't be here in the future, to actually reconstruct and reconfigure parts of their campus to have an analytical service in the North Lancashire area. So industry now buys into that. And that is something as well that I feel we can do. As chemistry backers such as Sulfur, with great contacts we have with physics as well, I'm certain, and the infrastructure we've already got, we can go out and tell industry that that's here at Sulfur. We can build on that. We can ask them to try and work with us, to invest with us, to move forward together. So for 12 minutes I've talked about this form, you can read it. But we can get this right. And I say we can get it right for one reason alone. It's the contacts we already have in industry. Salford has produced a tremendous amount of chemists, and those chemists are out there in industry. All we ask in this application is some help, some time, some resources to go out and find the remaining parts of industry. It has been hard to contact over the last few years. Industry needs to know that Salford is back with chemistry. The people that have known this for the last couple of years and helped us to get to this point to launch the chemistry degree are delighted that we've done it. The rest of industry, the rest of our alumni members need to know this. If we can get out and find them, I am certain they will help us. So that's the application. Those are the passions of me as a person, but the words are down on the form. Thank you for your time in looking at this, and hope this application can be received kindly as an ICZ pot. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll leave it you be.